Hello everyone and welcome back to Designing This Website. Today we are going to be covering creating the default styling. So as we start to create the default styling of our site, we're first going to need to take a look at our customization area available in WordPress and Themify. So to find that, you'd go to your appearance section and then customize. Give it a second to load. And this is a very important section, and it will give us a lot of control over our site. Currently, we don't have any content and haven't even built a home page. So for now, let's click the sample page link, and we will take care of some of the styling using that page as a reference until we create something more substantial. Let's go ahead and click our sample page, bring up that page, and then keep in mind that the page background isn't gray, but we can take care of some of the major styling we need to while on this page. There's a ton of variability here, so for the sake of time, I'm only going to go through the styling for our site, but feel free to mess around and see what changes affect what. None of them take effect until you click this publish button, so you can change all sorts of stuff on here and then just go back to the beginning if you want to, just if you want to test some stuff out. The changes we'll be making, though, will still give you a really good idea of how this area works, and there's definitely not going to be any shortage of content. So one of the big questions is always going to be, where do we start? And I've always believed that the best place to start is by picking your color scheme and font style, and then setting the styling for your different headings. So let's go ahead and just dive in. So the first part is going to be picking a color scheme. So picking this color scheme is one of the most important parts of designing a website. Sometimes you'll already have a color scheme to work with. For example, if you already have a logo with an existing color scheme, or you're working for a client who has a color scheme that they want, or they have a logo with an existing scheme already, well then you'll want to use that for the website. Other times you'll need to find one, and when that's the case, I always recommend picking one out from the color palettes on the link I have in the documentation. It's got about 50 different color palettes that and you can usually find something that you like or your client likes to use. In our particular case, I've been wanting to test out a simple black and white color scheme recently, so that's what we're going to do. I'll also probably work some gray in there as well and some images just to balance things out. And keep in mind too that we may change this. Part of designing is that you have to be willing to adjust things if they don't work. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So let's go ahead and turn the navigation bar black. So to change the color of the navigation bar, we're going to click the header drop down, header wrap, and then you have this background color here. And you can select it or you can type it in. So we'll go ahead and just drag it black. And you see the code is 000,000. Next, let's go ahead and make the font in there white. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to come down to header font, color, white. Let's go ahead and make the link color white as well. And then our header link hover, make that white as well. So if you notice, we have this sample page is still red there. So let's go ahead and go to our main navigation, and that's because we're on this page. So sample page. So in our main navigation, we have a menu link hover, menu link active hover. So let's go ahead and turn that menu link active white as well. Oh, that's the background color. Sorry. Color. There you go. So now our sample page is white. So now everything in our navigation is white, and we'll change more later to really bring it together. But for now, let's do the same stuff to the footer. So let's go to the drop down exit our header area here, go to our footer. Footer wrap, background, no, background color, black. Footer font, make it white. Footer link, make it white. Cool, so that should be good enough for now. Let's go ahead and publish that and see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and exit. Let's visit our site. Cool, so we can go to sample page. There's a sample page, and our navigation bar and footer are looking good. However, if you notice, when we hover over these, nothing happens, and that's because they're all set for white. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go to the Customize section, which you can also reach from this top navigation here. And we're going to set a slight color change to let the users know that they're hovering over it. So to enable our links to change color when you hover over them, we're going to go to the main navigation, our menu link hover, color, and we're going to go E3, E3, E3. And then our menu link active hover, we're going to do the same, E3, E3, E3. And then repeat up here for a header link hover, E3, E3, E3. So now, whenever I come up here and hover, you can see that the color changes slightly whenever I hover over different elements in my navigation bar. Not a huge impact, but I think it adds a little bit of professionalism and just a better experience for the user. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cover setting up the default fonts. So your default fonts are all going to be located in your heading section and your body section. So we're going to start with the body section. So click your body drop down and go to your body font tab. Normally when it comes to fonts, you'll want to choose one and you're going to want to stick with it across your entire site. Personally, I like simpler fonts. I think they make the site look more professional. The one I usually go with is Open Sans, and that's what we're going to go with for now. So body font, come over here, and you can look through and test all those if you want. So we're going to go Open Sans. So this sets our default font across the entire site, but we're not quite done yet. We still have to set the default font for our headings, which are another form of text. So to change our heading fonts, we're going to go to our Headings tab, which I already have expanded here, and we're going to set the font to Open Sans for each one of these, 1 through 6, along with some standard sizes. Feel free to mess around with the sizes as well, but I found the ones that I'm about to set here pretty much work for any site. And you can find these in the documentation as well. So for heading 1, we're going to go Open Sans, and we're going to set it to 80 pixels. And I'm going to leave the font weight for 300. For heading font 2, we're going to go Open Sans, and we're going to set it to 60 pixels. Heading 3, Open Sans, 50 pixels. 4, Open Sans, 30 pixels. 5, Open Sans, 20 pixels. And then finally heading 6, Open Sans, 15 pixels. So that's pretty standard, and I use that for pretty much every site that I design unless someone specifies otherwise. And the last thing we're going to need to do is set the font in our headers and footers. So let's go to the header font section and the footer font section and change those to Open Sans as well. So header font, Open sans, footer, footer font, open sans. So that way our font is now consistent across our entire site, and any content we create will have that font. And that should about cover it. So let's go ahead and click our publish button, save our changes, and move on to changing our logo and our tagline. So to set your logo and tagline, what you'll do is you'll go to the site logo and tagline section. You'll expand your logo, and as you can see, we have site title here. You can choose to have an image or none. In our case, we are going to opt for text, though we may come back and change this later to our actual logo as our site comes together. We'll just have to see, though I'm fairly confident that that's what we'll be doing. For now, we'll just put MWD in for the logo, and then for the tagline, we'll go Design Academy. I think that looks pretty good for now. We'll certainly be back to this section and make some changes. But I think we have completed our default styling and we're ready to start designing our homepage. So again, feel free to mess around with some more of these, publish the changes we've made, and we'll see you guys in the next class where we'll design the homepage. If you have any questions, feel free to respond to the discussion forum or submit a question to me, and I will answer it. Thanks for listening.